Hey guys, we are going to look at your assignment on EDID for today in this video. So this is a review. I should put that up here in the top. This is a review of writing expressions and linear equations. Okay. So first one we have here is write an expression equivalent to the statement below. So the statement is the sum of C and 5. So remember when we say sum, or we have total, those are talking about adding. So we're going to have C plus 5. So that's what you're going to type right here, C plus 5. You should have different numbers when you go to do this, but there'll be similar problems. So next one is n decreased by 7. So how would you write that? That means we have some number n, but now we took 7 away from it. So that's going to be 7 minus n. Other subtraction words might be less than, difference, right? Product of n and 7. So product is multiplication. So product would be n times 7, or you could write that as 7n. Then ratio. So ratios, we have like a fraction, right? We have 2 apples for every 3 oranges. That's a ratio. Well, that's also a division box, right? So that ratio of m and 2 would be m over 2. And if you're not sure, that's how you're gonna get that line division bar in the answer. You're gonna use that box, put the m in the top and the 2 on the bottom. The sum of 4 times a number is 7. Excuse me. The sum of 4 times a number and 7 is 26. Okay, so it says we have the sum here. Where'd my pen go? We have the sum. What's it the sum of? 4 times a number is one part of the sum, and 7 is the other part of the sum. So that means we need 4 times a number on one side plus sum. 7 is the other part. Then is means equals 26. Right, so then we've written most of this, but how do we write 4 times a number? So 4 times a number, if we're doing times, that means multiplication, right? And we don't know what the number is, so we could say the number is n. So now we have 4n plus 7 equals 26. Great, we can type that in, right? 4n plus 7 equals 26. No, because what is this asking us? It didn't ask us to write the expression like it did up here. Up here it said, write an expression. That's not what it asked us this time. It says to find the number. All right, so we need to actually find the number that's going to make this true. So now what we can do is subtract. Well, let's not go to subtraction yet. What are we trying to do? We want the number, right? So it's on this one. Let me write this neater. It says on this one side of the equation, it's right here. To know the number, we need to get that number by itself. So we need to move everything else to the other side. Okay, so we have the 4 with the n, but before we break those apart, we've got to get them by themselves. So the first thing we need to do is subtract the 7. And that's going to give us 4n equals 26 minus 7 is going to be 19. And then we can divide by 4. N equals 19 over 4. So that's what you're going to put as your answer. All right. Next, we have Megan and her friends just dined at a restaurant and left a tip of $39.40, which was equal to exactly 21% of the total bill. What was the total bill in dollars? Round your answer to the nearest two decimal places. Why are we rounding to two decimal places, first of all? Because how do we write money? We write money with the number of whole dollars, point 19, right? That'd be 19 cent. We round to the cents when we buy stuff. We pay in the smallest thing we pay with is pennies, right? So that's the two decimal places. If we rounded to one decimal place, that would be a dime, right? That'd be 10 cents. We rounded to two decimal places because that is where our pennies are. All right. So what is it talking about? It says we left a tip of $39.40, and that was equal to 21% of the bill. So usually we start with the bill and then we multiply the bill by whatever percentage we're leaving for tip, and that gives us our tip. All right, well, this time we have the tip, so we can put the tip here is $39.40. It's equal to, it's the bill, but we don't know what the bill is, but we know the percentage. But we're not going to put 21%, because when we write percentages and formulas, we write them in decimal form. So we're going to put 0.21b. And then to find the bill, we can divide by 0.21. And let's see, I don't think my calculator is going to show on your screen, but I'll do it over here to the side. So if I type 39.4 in my calculator and then divide it by 0.21, I get, oh, it's expensive dinner. I get 187.62. Hopefully they were feeding a lot of people for $182. $187. All right, so now we could check that. We know for percentages, the part over the whole equals the percent over 100, right? So if we put 3940 over 187.62, that should give us the percent over 100. All right, so 3940 divided by 187.62, and that does give us 20.99%, but we rounded, so that's acceptable. We would expect there to be a rounding error, right? So that is correct. So then our total bill for this one was 187.62. All right. The number of players on Emmett's team, 30, is 25 less than the number on Shreya's team. How many players are on Shreya's team? Right. So we have Emmett's team and we have Shreya's team. So Emmett's team is, because it says equals, Emmett's team is 25 less than Shreya's. So are we going to write this like this? 25 minus Shreya's? Right? We said earlier less than means subtract. But does that make sense? No. So we don't write that like that though, right? When we say less than, you're going to put the second part first. So because it's telling us less than the number of Shreya's team, so we're taking 25 from Shreya's team. So Emmett's team is equal to whatever's left when we take 25 away from Shreya's team. So now it says, we can solve it. It says Emmett's team had 30. So we can plug that in for Emmett's team, and we want to know how much Shreya's team had. Well, we said Emmett's team had 25 less than Shreya's. Well, that is the same thing as saying Shreya's team has 25 more than Emmett's. So if we add the 25 back to both sides, now we have 55 equals Shreya's team. So it's gonna have 55 players.